Let's talk about how to create outlines, also called groups, in Excel. In fact, in Excel, if you look this up, you're going to find it as grouping cells or grouping rows and columns. Okay, let's say that we have a report here which states projected sales and projected operating costs for a chain of stores. And it has all this detail right here. I have the total projected sales by region, the costs by type of costs, and other costs. And let's say that I'm not really interested in these rows. It might be because these are the rows that I use internally for calculating stuff, but when I print this report out, they're irrelevant, so I don't want them to show up. Or for other reasons, I might want to have these rows not show up in my printout. Now I could always hide them like this. Select hide rows and hide rows right here. But as you can see, it's pretty tedious because I have to select every row that I want to hide and select the hide command. And then if I need the numbers back, I'm going to have to unhide those rows, and then I'm going to have to hide them again and do that over and over and over again. Now Excel has an option which is called grouping, which can help us out there. What you do is you go to the Data tab right here, and in the end, you're going to see these options which say Outline, and you're going to see these options which say Group and Ungroup. Now, when we group rows together, we're going to get something similar to a drop-down menu right here, and we can expand and contract that menu in order to hide or show rows. Let me show you how it works. You select the rows that you want to group together, and you go right here to Group, and you say Group right there. And now you get this little bar here on the left side of your screen. And notice that there's a little minus sign right there. And when I click this minus sign, the rows disappear. If I click it again, they reappear. And that's simple. I can expand and contract these rows. Same thing down here. I'm going to group these together. And I'm going to group these together. And other costs I'll leave like that. So now I can hide these rows very easily, and I can recover them anytime that I want to without having to resort to hide and unhide rows in Excel. Now I could also collapse this all at once by clicking this little 1 or 2. As you can see, what happens is that the outline has two levels, the main level right here and the sub-level, which are the rows that I grouped together. So that's what Excel is telling us here with this 1 and 2. And I can click number 2 to set everything to level 2, or I can click number 1 to bring everything to level 1. So that's a real easy way to hide or show all your rows when you need to. Now, one thing that I find annoying that Excel does is that it always places the group marker on the bottom of the group. And that's kind of contrary to what you're accustomed to seeing in an outline. Normally, when you have an outline, you see something like this. You have a header, which is total projected sales, and several sub-rows, which are these: North region, Northwest region, and whatever. And the same thing with these other rows. That's how these financial documents work. I mean, this is sub-data, and it's summarized by this top row. So it's kind of contradictory that Excel should choose to place this marker on the bottom of the group. But we can change that. How do we change that? We go back to the Data tab, and instead of clicking right here in this group option, we're going to click the outline drop-down right here. See, at the bottom right corner, there's this little triangle. We're going to click it. And we get these settings for our outlines. Now all we need to do is uncheck this one that says Summary Rows Below Detail. See, this is the summary row, and it's below the detail items. So when I uncheck this, it's going to send it to the top of the group. And that looks a whole lot better in my opinion, because now I have total projected sales, and when I collapse this, I have these titles, and when I expand, I get the detail of what conforms this number up here. Now, maybe if you had a list of items and at the end you had a total, you might want it the other way around. But that's easy to change, as you saw. Just go here to the drop down and check or uncheck this box depending on what you want. Now we can also create outlines in columns. Here's my eternally long spreadsheet with sales numbers and locations. Let's say that I wanted to group these together. Stores 101 through 105, I'm going to group together, and I'm going to say group right there. And as you can see, now I have groups in my columns that I can expand and I can contract. Now, unfortunately, something you have to be careful of is that this, of course, hides entire columns. So I have this title here which says store number and location, and that disappears if I collapse that group. So what you should do is put this somewhere where it won't get grouped in with anything else. So now when you collapse it, the title, store number, and location stays there. And I can do the same thing with these next columns. I can group them like that. Just like that. In fact, I can even do subgroups, both in rows and in columns. If I wanted to have these three grouped additionally, I just add a group right there. And now I have several levels. See, I went from 2 levels to 3 levels. So if I collapse to level 1, everything shuts down. It collapses to level 2, it expands, but I still have this group here, which are stores, the stores I just grouped. And if I expand this group, I get these 4 stores. And that's how you group columns and rows in Excel. By playing around with these grouping options and with the subgroups, you can do really interesting things and make really dynamic and easy to understand spreadsheets. So there's another tool that you can use to make your spreadsheets easier to print, easier to understand, and easier to read. Thanks for watching this video tutorial. If you liked the video, be sure to subscribe to our channel and to visit our website, cubicleoverlords.com, for more instructional videos like this one.